All right, my friends, welcome back to another visualizing video. This one is a long requested video talking about extremely efficient modular base designs in V-Rising. So about 2 years ago, one of the first videos I ever did was basically just showcase some very efficient modular room designs for the state of the game back pre-Gloomrot. So about 2 years ago. And it was a pretty cool video, basically just showcasing how tightly you could fit your base together in a single spot and how small you can make your rooms. Obviously, things have changed since then. I made one of these videos for the Gloomra update, and now I have been asked to basically just go through and make some of these things as well for the 1.0 update. So I am going to be showcasing some of this. But I also decided to change it up just a little bit. We're actually going to be showcasing three different things. First is going to be the modular room designs, and then we're going to go from there to a couple other different designs. So let's go ahead and take this teleporter first things first. Just showcasing this. This is the top floor, production floor. I'm going to show you basically what I have for each of these rooms. So first things first, we have a tailoring room. So what you'll notice in this tailoring room is there is no storage in this room. And one of the reasons that's the case is because I wanted to showcase essentially what you could fit into a room like this. So right now I have two looms, and I can actually move this teleporter over. If you wanted to, you could add some storage right here. If you add this right here, you won't be able to pass through, so you'll definitely want to at least have like some space there. However, you'll also notice that there is no leather crafting bench in this room. And the issue, obviously my thought process with that is while you're leveling up, if you have a 2x3 tailoring room, then obviously you may need two looms. That would be really nice if you're solo, or if you're solo, you can really get away with just one or even duo. And you can obviously delete one and just put in a leather working station while you're waiting, while you need that. And then once you're done, you don't need it anymore. You can get rid of it like that. And you can just add another loom in like this, and you can fully pass through this whole area here. So this right here is just kind of also showing like you can have a wall, or sorry, a doorway here and a doorway here all around this way. So a 2x3, in my opinion, is kind of the sweet spot for a tailoring room if you're trying to make it efficient. You really don't need more than this, in my opinion. I mean, you could add more if you wanted to, but storage wise, this is pretty decent. And if you need a lot, if you're working with like a squad with a ton of stuff, I'm going to show you another design further into the video that may be helpful, but this is just right now showing like you have these different entrances and whatnot. So next we're going to be going into the workshop. So again, if you're like a single player, you probably only really need one advanced grinder because it just has so much space in it. And if that's the case, you can kind of get away with these two sawmills, advanced grinder, and I put the devourer here because it's pretty centralized to the entire production floor. However, keep in mind, obviously, if you're a little bit bigger, I'm going to show you another, again, I'll show you another design like this. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so for now, I think this is pretty solid in my opinion. Also, one thing to note, if you actually want two grinders and you only want one sawmill, I know that sounds weird, but some people, that's the case where they have a bunch of wood and they're constantly throwing it into the sawmill. And they just have one sawmill. You can actually stack two grinders like this back to back next to each other here, and then one sawmill on this side here. But it would be a little bit cramped, but you can do it. And obviously it's only one sawmill. But anyway, okay, so here we're going to have the forge room. This is not necessarily the only way to do this. So it's kind of similar to the tailoring room. You can set this up in a little bit of a different way here. But this is just showcasing this. You have three different room entrances, or yeah, just doorways anyway. You can kind of run in right here or over here. And keep in mind, you can pass in between the advanced furnaces. You could, if you wanted to, I guess you could turn this around. If you didn't have this doorway here, you could turn these around like that. Or you could even just turn them around now, like it just depends on how you want to do it. But again, this whole 2x3 is really cramped and probably not ideal overall. I probably would make this maybe just a little bit bigger, even if you just added two more squares over here to add, to basically put the fabricator like this and give yourself a little more room to work with. But I mean, this does work. I just wanted to show that this actually does work. But obviously we're missing the ancestral forge, which is really nice because it actually fits into a 1x1. So really what that means is whenever you add the ancestral forge to your forge room, all you need is a single additional square. So like for instance, we just did this, and we just like threw this right there. This right here could be the ancestral forge. You get the idea. Okay, so but again, because it's a single, oh, it fits in a 1x1. You can kind of just throw it wherever you want. So the alchemy room actually hasn't changed from the one that I used even all the way back pre-Gloomrot, so 2 years ago. It fits into an L shape like this. So something to note, obviously I have a lot of storage here. If you want an additional advanced blood press, it actually will fit right here, and you can pass, along the right hand side here. So if you want another one, you actually can fit it here, but you'd just be missing out on some storage. Unfortunately, this right here, this alchemy table, was not reduced in size in the 1.0 update. It should have been cut down to actually fit, to fit correctly. Notice, like right here, it should fit like this, honestly. And it also should allow for a doorway to be placed right here. But for whatever reason, it doesn't, and it's what makes this whole thing kind of difficult to work with. If they did cut that down, though, you could very easily fit these two things into a 1x2, which I will be showing you later. And the jewel crafting room hasn't changed either. So if you're looking for jewelry stuff, right here, you can fit everything into a 2x2. The jewel crafting table, if you don't necessarily want this, or if like maybe you just only want to build this when you want, it's like here's something that people may not consider. You don't really need a jewel crafting table all the time. When you need it, but whenever you don't need it, it's just taking up space. So obviously, like if you need to craft something, you can put it down, and then whenever you're done with it, if you want, you can actually just do this and throw another gem cutting table down like this. So if that's what you want to do, you could do that. That can help, especially if you're planning on raiding or whatever. It's nice to have two of them. You can cut two golems at the same time. But yeah, that's essentially it's really very, very useful. I would say like a 2x2 is honestly the best the most you're gonna need for a jewel crafting room. And now we're going to be going into the prison section, which for now so prison's pretty straightforward. You can make it like a 2x2 or 2x3 or whatever you really want to. But this is actually something I found that was actually really cool. Was if you make it like this, so this is only 1x3. You can fit 4 prison cells and a fish storage and a small blood potion storage all right here. And it's obviously it's cramped, but it works perfectly. Like you can kind of just throw this wherever. And if you want to expand it, you can right here. If you want to expand it, you can just keep adding on additional squares. So that's pretty cool. The additional tiles will keep making it longer and longer and longer. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So this to me is very useful and very efficient. A lot of times you'll have these little like long stretches of even just like I said, this is just a 1x3. So yeah, pretty cool build right there. Okay. Now we're actually going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to run it back up here to do a couple more things. So the library room is still a 2x3. Sadly, with the update to 1.0, for whatever reason, these models of the Athenium and the study got changed. You can no longer stack them right in front of each other like this, like you used to be able to. So they have to be off-centered. It's kind of annoying, but that's just how the cookie crumbles, I suppose. So yeah, but you can still fit everything that you normally did back in the other version, like Gloomrot and whatnot, into this. If you need to add some storage, we can add storage right here. So yep, there's plenty of room in here, honestly. So yeah, if you want to put your library stuff indoors, a 2x3 is probably what you're going to be looking for. And then as far as the vermin nest and the Stygian summoning circle, these will they only really fit mostly in a 2x2. So I figured if you might as well just add 2 more squares onto it and put them both in the same room. So if you need a vermin nest, or summoning circle, they're all both just right here. Next, we're going to go over here, and the tombs are still 2x2 for 6 tombs is pretty solid. I wanted to showcase this. This is kind of a little preview of what's coming up next. So stairs actually are very interesting because normally you would not be able to fit a vermin nest in a spot like this, but with stairs, it kind of gives it a little bit of open area. So you can. However, I can't add walls onto this. So unfortunately, this right here does not work into an L shape. but we'll show a little bit, some more in just a second here. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. That was all of the modular designs. Now we're going to be going into and looking at some very interesting designs here. So, okay, so first things first, I'll come back to those. We'll go up here to the blue teleporter. So this is kind of like, I just wanted to show some secondary approaches to some of these rooms. This is actually, I know I didn't have it up at the top, but I just wanted to show, this is actually, I think, in my opinion, the best setup for the tailoring room overall. You can use the gate, yeah, the wide castle entrance right here. You can use that if you want to, or you could just use like, I guess you could just probably use this, maybe. No, maybe not. Yeah, probably not. I would just say the wide castle entrance. So if you use this and you access it from just like the side here or the long side, you can actually come in here and it has way more space management here. So we have the leatherworking station, advanced tannery. Again, this is still a 2x3, just like the one upstairs, but it's just so much better here. So we have 2 looms and the leatherworking station and our advanced tannery. Everything we need, more storage. I mean, this is enough storage for really everything you're probably going to need. And then this entrance here, and you can actually access from an entrance here and an entrance over here. So this is probably the ideal version of a tailoring room. But I just wanted to, like, obviously the issue is you can't always set things up exactly like this. Sometimes like you just have to cram it into a small spot like I did, and it might be a little awkward to enter that way. So, but anyway, so this is, yeah, this is probably the best way to do a tailoring room. And okay, so next we're going to go to the workshop here. So workshop, this is where it's kind of a little strange. See how it's a 2x2, but then with a little 1 extra right here. Unfortunately, if you want 2 grinders, you can stack them like this. And you can get a sawmill. This is what I was talking about upstairs. You can kind of get like one of these if you wanted to get rid of like one of these sawmills. You could absolutely do this and fit it into a 2x2, but it's not really practical in my opinion. You probably want to have 2 sawmills. So yeah, you're going to have it something like this. And I figured, well, if we're going to have to do that, we might as well add something. So we put the devourer. This could be storage or whatever you want it to be. And then we're going to do the same thing. This is a extremely condensed version of the forge room. Yeah, not really all that practical, as you can tell. It just looks a little crazy here. You have 1 advanced furnace, and you have the fabricator, and you have the anvils here. Something, and then a bunch of storage. But something to note with this, I was kind of just messing around with this. If you get rid of the fabricator, and let's say you have it like in a different area, or like just like on the side somewhere. I know that sounds like doesn't really make sense, but let's just say that's how you wanted it. You could actually do this. And I believe you can actually fit, yeah, 1 small furnace like this. So you could have like a big furnace for all of the important stuff, and then a small furnace for the like sulfur, iron, that kind of thing. So yeah, kind of interesting. That's a 2x2 that you can fit all of that. So that's why I wanted to show that. Just 'cause, I mean, obviously you need a fabricator. You have to have one, but I just figured I'd show like how interesting that you could fit like so much into a 2x2. And I put this back here, the Ancestral Forge. Again, like I said, you can cram it into a 1x1, so I just kind of tossed it back there. This is, to me, probably the more efficient jewelry room, like jewel crafting room. If you don't have to make jewels, you're not trying to make jewels, you can actually get the gem, yeah, in a 1x3, you can get the artisan table and the gem cutting table all in a single 1x3. And also, on top of that, let's say this one is just like what I would do in this situation, right? Okay. So let's say you are crafting golems, right? You want 2 gem cutting tables. You just stack this back one with the golems. And then in the meantime, while you're crafting like the obsidian or whatever, you go like this. So you can't jump back here. Like it will not let you jump back there. I've tried with this, like with wolf or frog form. So you can't really get back there, but what you could do is have this one just crafting all your golems. And then while that's doing stuff, you can right here, be crafting obsidian or whatever, while this is crafting golems. And then once once you need to put more golems in there, you would just essentially delete the gem cutting table, come over here, make more golems, and then put the gem cutting table back. Also wanted to showcase just this right here, a advanced blood press. So if you're an ultra nerd and you're trying to save as much as possible, you don't technically have to have a alchemy table. You don't have to have it, I believe. Yes, you don't have to have it. You can buy all of the potions, including the holy resistance potions and whatnot. So if you wanted to, you could put the advanced blood press into a 1x1 and just have this be the only thing of alchemy that you use. If you wanted to do that, you could. But yeah, I just wanted to showcase that as well. Okay, and now we're going to go back here and we're going to get into the ultra mega sweaty nightmare fuel type rooms. But I wanted to show how cool these are, what you can essentially do with stairs. Keep in mind, this is not a raid situation, a raid worthy castle. If you're doing this for a raid, like a raid castle, you're going to get blown out of the water. But this is just showing you what you can do. It's really interesting. So first things first, L-shaped stair. Very interesting because it's two sides of a wall, or sorry, two sides of the stair, and the stair actually counts as walls. So if you do an L-shaped stair and then an entrance and then a wall, this is an enclosed room. And it's big enough that I can fit an advanced grinder in here. You can see here has matching floor and confined castle room. Even though I can jump down into this, it's still considered in a confined room. So yeah, you can make these little L-shaped stairs and put like advanced grinders. This is like the biggest thing I could find to like sit in here. I find this pretty crazy though, what you can actually fit in here. You can also put an alchemy table in this. Really quickly, I will do that in a second. Yeah, and then here is another thing I find really cool was if you have two sets of stairs, like a stair and a stair, or even just this one piece like L-shaped into this, you could make a 1x2 jewelry room. So artisan table, gem cutting table. Like, I think this is kind of cool that you can do this. So again, if this is something you are interested in, you can do this. You can slam something in here, just giving you some ideas. And next we're going to go up to really quickly to the yellow one here. I'm going to jump down real quick. So this is, I just wanted to show what you could do with the L-shaped stair as well. So here is a 2x1 alchemy room where you have the advanced blood press and your alchemy table and two things of storage. Like you can fit all of that into this, which I find really, really cool. It's, yeah, obviously pretty cramped, but you can, yeah, I just want to showcase all the interesting things you can do with stairs. And we're going to go over here now up to the yellow teleporter. And this is where the truly awe-inspiring degenerate builds are over here. So let's go ahead and just look what we can stick into in between staircases. So this is a 1x1 workshop in between two long staircases, and you could fit 3 sawmills in here. So sawmills, obviously during raid, like this isn't ideal, but if you wanted to, you could cram two staircases and just make this like, oh, if you have 2 staircases together, you could know, hey, I could just cram sawmills in there. So kind of interesting there. And this right here is the, oh, actually, hold on, let's go over the forge side first. This is a super small forge room, 2x2 with 2 staircases on each side. It's advanced furnace, fabricator, anvils. So kind of everything you need, honestly, if you're really trying to be like a minimalist. You can have every single thing right here. Personally, I prefer to have 2 advanced furnaces, but I think this is pretty cool. Again, just with a 2x2, you can fit every single thing in here. So pretty cool. And lastly this is where it gets kind of interesting to me. Something you might want to consider. I don't know. Maybe it just depends on, what you're doing here. This is a 1x2 alchemy room. Check this out. All right. Stygian summoning circle. Right here. If you turn it the right way, you can actually fit it right here into this tiny 1x2. So if you have 2 stairs on either side, you can actually have a Stygian summoning circle inside a 1x2. So I think that's pretty cool. Just something just to keep in mind. I would imagine like if you put like a golem in here, for instance, put some doors here. Somebody's trying to, attack up like maybe your second, I don't even know, second floor, who knows. You just open this door and all of a sudden there's Stygian summoning circles. So kind of some cool stuff. But anyway, yeah, that's going to be it for now. I would say overall, they've added a bunch of stuff. Mostly we can still get everything pretty compact. There's also a lot of freedom with how you organize things. Really, like forge room specifically, you can make it a 2x3, and there's a lot of ways you can organize this and a lot of sides you can put the doors on. Just kind of mess around with it yourself, and you can find some pretty decent setups for that. Yeah, and same with the tailoring room as well. But anyway, so that is going to be it. So hopefully you got something out of that. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. But until then, until next time, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you in the next one.